What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days, Season 5, The Tell-All Part 1. And it was a pretty good tell-all. I really did enjoy myself. So before the show actually began, we see all of the cast members arriving. They get all dressed up and makeup, outfits, all of that, and they kind of all gather together like in the green room or some backstage area waiting for the show to actually start. And so we hear a little tidbits of conversation among the cast members. First of all, when Riley first showed up, it was Statler was in the room and Misha was in the room. So Riley comes in and they stand up to greet him, and he said, "Hugs, I give hugs," or something like that. I don't have a problem with hugs, okay? If you want to hug me, I'll hug you back. I don't have issues with hugs, but you don't know if everybody else doesn't have issues with hugs and being in such, close physical contact with someone that you don't know. When you just, open up your arms and you're like, "I give hugs," maybe the other person on the receiving end doesn't give hugs, and so I think it's just better to shake people's hands or just say hello because you don't know what people's comfort levels are. But that was just my little pet peeve. But they didn't have an issue hugging Riley. Like I said, I don't have a problem with hugs, but you don't know if other people might have a problem. And if they were to refuse his hugs, then, it's going to be kind of awkward. So don't just demand hugs or say, "I give hugs, so you have to hug me." Kind of like fill it out a little bit. Anyways, moving on. So Amanda says that filming did not get the real her. Every single time someone comes off with a less than favorable appearance, or if there's a lot of negative backlash or not a lot of negative response from the public, that person will say, "Oh, I wasn't accurately portrayed. It was the way that I was edited." And Amanda did not come off as, warm and cuddly. She came off as very cold, very distant. She came off as unapproachable. We can see where, Razvan was trying to engage with her, or Razvan was a lot more human compared to Amanda's, very robotic AI persona. So she probably read all the comments online and people were probably talking negatively about her. So the first thing she says is, "I wasn't portrayed accurately." Okay, then they talk about whose relationship was the most toxic. Riley said that him and Viola's relationship was the second most toxic, and Statler says, Jasmine and Gino, they have to take the cake in first place. So they're talking about Jasmine and Gino. Statler even says that she says that she's happy that they're not going to be in the same room with Jasmine, and she referred to Jasmine as a horrible human being. Little do they know that Jasmine has arrived into the United States, and she will definitely be in the same room with everybody else because she's definitely there at the tell-all. So Jasmine comes out and she tells them, "I heard everything that y'all were saying about me." Jasmine is just happy to be in America because she can finally, get this new chapter of her life started that she's been waiting for so long. Jasmine was just happy to be there. She probably heard everything they said about her, and she probably doesn't give a damn. She's just happy to be in America. I don't know if she's so happy to be with Gino in America, but she is definitely really happy to finally be here stateside. So then it's finally time to start the show. So this is the first time ever that 90 Day Fiancé Before the 90 Days is going to have a live studio audience, which was fine. I mean, I really didn't think it was necessary unless there's going to be some type of audience participation. But other than that, I really don't understand why, we have to watch the audience's reactions and facial expressions when certain things were said on stage. It's just not necessary as far as I'm concerned. But if there's going to be a Q&A after, then I'm all for it. So Christian and Cleo, they say that they're still together, which is fine, good for them. I still believe that Cleo deserves better. It's okay if she doesn't believe she deserves better, but I do think that Cleo could do so much better than Christian. But hey, the heart wants what the heart wants. Tyree, he couldn't make it there physically. He's still in California because he was feeling a little bit under the weather. I'm wondering if it was possibly, the C-19. And look, I like Tyree. He is likable, lovable, huggable. He's a great guy. You know, he was horribly victimized in this whole catfish scheme, and our hearts went out to Tyree. And his story was a good story. It was just a good story for the wrong show. His ordeal had nothing to do with the whole 90 Day Fiancé thing, even though he thought he was talking to a woman in the Bahamas or Jamaica or the Caribbean or wherever he thought she was living. I get that he thought he was speaking with a foreign woman, and he wanted to see how things were going to go, to see if maybe he can get her to come to America, like, you know, every other couple on 90 Day Fiancé. I totally get that. But once the producers found out exactly what the deal was, that he was being catfished, they should have made an executive decision to not include his story in this season, because at the end of the day, he was catfished. This had nothing to do with 90 Day Fiancé, long distance relationships, foreign loves, trying to get your partner to come stateside, dealing with immigration and K-1 visas and all of that. It had really nothing to do. That wasn't like the meat and potatoes of his story. The meat and potatoes of his story was being catfished. So he should have been on MTV's Catfish. I don't know if that show was still running. I have no idea, but he should have been on that show. Like I said, he's a great guy. I like Tyree a lot, but this was just the wrong show for him. Riley and Violet tell us that they broke up, but of course we'll get to that more a little bit later. If they did, good for them. They don't need to be together, but you know, we'll see. So they start off the segment with Gino and Jasmine. So they're living together in the U.S. Jasmine has only been in the United States for a few days. When they showed the clip of her and Dan, I thought his name was Dane, but when they showed the clip of her and Dan in Panama, where she was, you know, confiding in Dan about how Gino doesn't want to sleep with her, and you know, all of that, you know, going into great details about the lack of sex between her and Gino. As soon as Dan's face appeared on screen, you know, we could see, because they did a side by side or a picture in picture with Jasmine's face, and you know, we're watching the little clip. As soon as Dan's face was on screen, Jasmine's face just lit up like a damn Christmas tree. And it was almost like she caught herself cheesing way too hard when Dan appeared on screen. She quickly removed the smile on her face. But girl, we saw that. We did not miss that initial reaction when you saw the face of the man you really want to be with show up on screen. So they talk about... no, Gino tells her, you know, it's really not cool that you were talking to your ex-boyfriend about our sex life. That was just, you know, not cool at all. And she says that she needed to get, she wanted to know a man's perspective. She wanted to get a man's perspective of what her and Gino were going through. Jasmine is so full of that BS. She has an answer for everything, an excuse for everything. If you wanted to get a man's perspective, you know, talk to your male neighbor, go to an advice column, go into a message board or a chat room where these things are discussed. You don't have to go to your ex-boyfriend to tell him how horrible your current boyfriend is in bed. So Dane, she says that she confesses that Dane had proposed a goodbye dinner for her before she left for America. And of course, Gino, you know, acted like he had no idea. He's like, what are you talking about? And she says, yeah, he had proposed a goodbye dinner for me. It was just a goodbye dinner, y'all. It was just a goodbye dinner. Nothing happened. And we'll come to find out it was a date on Valentine's Day, and Dan had brought flowers, and he brought her a card, and Lord knows what other type of gift he brought her, and Lord knows what happened after dinner. She claims nothing happened. If this story is even true, because I do not trust Gino and Jasmine with what they tell us as far as I can throw them. I just don't trust these people. I think these people have gotten really comfortable being on this television show. I think that Gino definitely is really enjoying his TLC checks, and I think that they'll do whatever to stay. And I think that they're really probably hoping and praying that TLC is going to offer them a spinoff, because they are a very well-known couple on the 90 Day franchise. So I just don't trust them as far as I can throw these people. I really don't. But she said she went on this date with her ex-boyfriend. Gino is acting all upset about it. I just don't think, if she really did go out on a date with Dan, I don't think she would have admitted it. That's where I'm coming from. I don't think that she would have sat on that stage and admitted to it. It just doesn't make any sense. So Christian says, you know, Jasmine, you're doing this because you're always looking for attention. Wouldn't he know? Wouldn't he know? Jasmine says that when they were talking about, well, did you have sex with him afterwards and blah, blah, blah. Why should we believe you that nothing happened afterwards? Jasmine says, well, me and Dan, when we were together, we were having just so much sex. We're over it now. We're tired of it. How can you say that next to your fiance, the man who's going to be, financially taking care of you for the next 10 years, as they say, and be responsible for you for the next 10? How can you say that? What I'm like? I just don't. That's why none of this makes sense. Jasmine and Gino, their whole entire life makes no sense to me. So Christian calls our relationship toxic. Okay, we all agree with that. And they asked Gino, like, don't you see any red flags here? Is there anything here that's causing you to be a little bit suspicious? And Gino says that his breaking point with Jasmine is if she ends up cheating on him. That will be his breaking point. So going out on dates with your ex on Valentine's Day, A-okay, as long as she doesn't sleep with him. The question was, to Jasmine, do you and Dan have a sex video from 1 month before Gino came? And I'm glad that they asked her about the time frame, because that is what she said in that episode when her and Gino had that big blow up fight, is she says, oh, and me and Dan, we did a sex video 1 month ago. That's exactly what she said. So when they asked her, do you have a sex video of you and Dan a month before Gino came to... I thought that's what it was all about. The fact that she did this sex video while she was in a relationship with Gino. So Jasmine says there is definitely a sex video. It's saved on her iCloud or on her memory card, whichever, because she doesn't know the difference. But she says it was way before she met Gino. So why would you bring that up? Do you understand what I'm saying? How none of this makes any sense? If it was so long ago, way before you even met Gino, why would you be screaming that in his face? And I have a sex video from a month. She's clearly said from a month ago. But here on the reunion stage, she says it was done before, before she met Gino. And, Gino said that he wanted to see the video, and the guys on stage were like, no, you don't. And so Gino was like, no, I want to see it because I want to see the date. So when they go on break, Gino says, why do you still have this video saved? And Jasmine says, oh, don't worry, I'll delete it. Okay, but don't delete it before Gino can verify the date of when actually this video was taken. So Jasmine gets upset with Gino, saying that he's not supporting her enough. But you're saying things that are, if they're true, you're saying things that are devastating to him. You're going out with your ex-boyfriend the day before you come to America to be with Gino. You're talking about how, yes, there is this sex tape that you still have, however many years later. If it was really recorded before you met Gino, you still have this in your possession, this sex tape of you and this other man, your ex. You're saying things that are breaking his heart. Well, like, what do you want him to support? But she tells him, you better be more supportive of me on that stage. But, Gino, Gino will always be Gino. He's always going to be a sucker for Jasmine. Moving on to Statler and Dempsey. First of all, I want to say this. The whole entire time that I was looking at Statler on stage, to me, she seemed a little off. She seemed like she was troubled or stressed or not, happy. I don't know if she's always been this way, but I've missed it. But to me, she just looked like something was bothering her, like she had something on her mind, or she wasn't happy about something. So they don't plan on living in a caravan on the farm when Statler returns back to the UK. What they plan on doing is they're planning on traveling across Europe in a van, and Statler works remotely because a question was asked, how are you going to make money? How are you going to support yourselves while y'all are traveling across Europe? And Statler says, well, I work remotely, so I can work anywhere in the world. She says this is more of Dempsey's idea. So when she said it like that, when she was like, well, this is more of her idea, it was kind of like, I'm not really down with this, but because she's my girlfriend, I'm going to go ahead and do this, even though I see no point in doing this, because I'm pretty sure Statler probably wanted to move to England, get a cute little apartment, with her and Dempsey in London and just start life like that. I don't think she wanted to live in a caravan on a farm. I don't think she wants to travel through Europe, but she's going to do all of this just to be with Dempsey. She's already committed to living with Dempsey, and Dempsey's like, okay, if you want to live with me, well, this is what I want to do. I want to, travel across Europe. So Statler's down. So then they start, oh my God, it was so uncomfortable, y'all. Then, of course, they showed us a scene that they didn't show us before during the regular season. And this was a scene where Dempsey was saging Statler's lady parts, okay? Because she wanted to sage that area because, Statler, she's been around, and she's been around high and low, far and wide. And so Dempsey wanted to eradicate all of the, I don't know what she called them, the spirits or something, that the bad spirits, the promiscuous spirits. She wanted to eradicate all of that from Statler's lady area. And then she gave her an egg or something to insert to cleanse it out. Child, it was a lot. And I really lost it when they actually showed us Statler inserting it. I was like, wow, this is insane. I can't believe I'm watching this on like primetime television. So she's inserting this thing in her. And so it was funny to me was that I'm thinking about Nicola, and I'm thinking about him watching this and what must be going through his mind. He's probably thinking he's, entered the pits of hell, or he's probably was worried that, lightning was going to strike and kill them all. I was just like, what is Nicola thinking? So the funny thing is that Jasmine brings Nicola into the conversation, and, I don't know if she asked him, well, what do you think about this? I don't know what she asked him. And Nicola says, they need to get on their knees and pray for forgiveness. Statler's friend comes out on stage, and she's basically there to attest to the fact that Statler does move really, really, really fast in relationships. So Jasmine then asked Statler's friend, what makes Dempsey so special? And this is what she does in all of her relationships. She moves really fast. So what makes Dempsey so special? And the friend says, well, I'm not sure if she is special. And I was like, wow, I can't believe her friend said that. Her friend seems like such a sweet lady, and she says, well, I'm not even sure if Dempsey is special. So we do find out later on in the conversation that the friend does feel some kind of way about Dempsey. She feels like maybe Dempsey does not have Statler's best interest at heart. The friend is very protective of Statler, and she just wants Dempsey to do right by her. Dempsey says that the friend's opinions are invalid. She doesn't really care what the friend says. The friend says that she does have reservations about the relationship. Everyone picked up that Dempsey's whole demeanor kind of changed when the friend showed up and started talking. She got very wasn't really responding a lot. There were times when they would ask her questions and she would just kind of stare into the camera and not say anything. So Statler says that they have a really hard time communicating, and she wants them to go to couples therapy. And so they asked Dempsey, are you in agreement with going to couples therapy? And Dempsey was like, well, not really. We are reading, self-help books, relationship books. So I feel like there's trouble in paradise between Statler and Dempsey. I think that somewhere along the line, they're not really meeting eye to eye. There's some type of discord between Statler and Dempsey. They talk about the issue of kids. Well, now they're at this. Now they've decided that neither one of them knows whether or not they want to have children. And someone made a point. I don't know if it was Amanda. I don't know who it was, but somebody on stage had made a point. Was it Sean? I don't know. Someone said, so, okay, we started off with Statler definitely not wanting to have children. Now she's not so sure. And we started off with Dempsey definitely wanting children. Now she's not so sure. Either way, they feel the way they feel about kids, in my personal opinion, hasn't changed. Statler still doesn't want them. Dempsey still wants them, but they don't want to, break up over this issue. They'd rather address this later, where it's really going to be a problem later. I think they need to address it now. And the friend made a good point too. The friend was like, look, if I was looking at somebody's dating profile and they say they want children and I didn't, I'm just going to swipe left or right, however it's done nowadays. So I'm not even going to give that person a second thought. And I'm not understanding why why didn't that happen with Statler and Dempsey? Like, in the kids is an important topic. Okay. Even in same-sex relationships, it is a very important topic. That is something that you need to let your potential know up front straight away. I am not interested in children. I don't want children. Don't ask me to have any damn kids. I don't want them. Or look, my life goal is to be a parent. I'm going to have children one way or another. It's going to happen at some point. I'm going to conceive a child and raise a child. That is what's going to happen in my life. Take it or leave it. I don't understand why that was not known about each other in the very, very beginning of their relationship. I'm really lost about that. So the friend tells Dempsey to take really good care of Statler, and I don't know. It's just something about Statler and Dempsey. Their relationship seems kind of off. And to me, Statler seemed kind of like not 100% happy. Then we move on to Misha and Nicola. So they haven't seen each other in a year. Nicola's arriving in the U.S. next week, and they talk about the annulment. And Misha tells Nicola that she has gotten an answer from the tribunal, and they decided to go ahead and grant her annulment. Everybody cheers and claps for them. Everybody's happy for them because now they can finally get married. Misha says she's ready to get married right now. She doesn't want to waste any more time. They make a lot of jokes about how their first night is going to be when they consummate their marriage. And then the difference then what would then her kids come out. I did some chicken scrap here. Oh, the children come out. Her daughters come out, and the daughters said that I think Sean asked him, so what do you think about Nicola? And one of her daughters says, well, he's usually not the type that my mother goes for. Y'all, I'm still not understanding what they see in each other. I don't understand the glue that holds Misha and Nicola together. I just don't get it. So the kids don't want to feel judged by Nicola when he arrives in the United States, because everybody thinks because he's so uber religious that he's going to be very strict with the girls and he's going to pass judgment on everything that they do. And Statler even says that not only will y'all be judged by him, but it's going to cause a rift between you and your mother. That's how bad it's going to get. So Statler is like, she's bringing the doom and gloom to Misha and Nicola's relationship. So Nicola says that, these are not his daughters. These are Misha's daughters, and she's going to deal with her daughters however she wants to deal with them. And the telling thing was when he said, I have trust in her that she's going to make the right decisions for her daughters, or something to that effect. Something about, I have trust in her that she's going to do the right thing by her daughters, which tells me that he will be judging on how she mothers her kids. Because for him to say, well, I have trust that she's going to do the right thing. Well, the right thing is very subjective. The right thing to who? The right thing to you? The right thing to her? Because what might be right for Misha may not be right for Nicola. So when he says, oh, I have trust in her that she's going to make the right decisions with her kids, I didn't like that. That did not roll over too well with me. So Misha says that she's going to check him if he does come off too judgy with her girls. She's going to put him right back in his place. And then they showed the clip where he had told her, you're cute when you're mute, and where she was pouring her heart out for the very first time to him in person, letting him know how she really doesn't feel like, like he really has her best interest at heart, or she really didn't feel loved by him or cared for by him. She felt like something in the relationship was lacking, and he was being very dismissive. He was being he wasn't like, he's being very insensitive when she was like pouring her heart out and crying. And he was kind of like, Misha, what do you want, Misha? What do you want, Misha? You want hugs? I give you hugs. Like, what's the problem? Why are you crying, Misha? He was very, very insensitive, very abrupt with her. And I don't see how she could have looked at that. But, he said he apologized. He said, we've already been through it. I've already apologized for how I was talking to her that day, and we've moved on from there. So the kids don't want their mom to be with someone who won't allow her to express herself. And on stage right there, Misha started crying. I'm assuming she was crying because she was reliving that moment and, remembering how he was with her. But I mean, I was waiting for her to say, but he's not like that anymore. He's changed, but she didn't say that. So I don't know. Misha wants her daughters to see Nicola the way she sees him. Girl, that will never happen. That's not going to happen. Your daughters are not going to see the things that you see in him, because I think that Misha only wants to see the good in him, where everybody else, we see everything about him. We see where he's problematic. We see where he's okay. We see the full Nicola. She only wants to see what she wants to see in him because she wants to justify staying with him. Then the question was, what does it mean when you say Misha needs to see that I'm the man? And he says, it's in the Bible. He's like, what are you talking about? It's in the Bible. Men are the leaders and women need to listen to the man, and the man will control the household and blah, blah, blah. The man this, the man that. It's in the Bible. So Amanda agrees with Nicola. So Amanda chimes in and says, oh, I agree with everything Nicola is saying, because yes, I agree with that. You know, it's God, and then it's the husband, and then it's the wife. And excuse me. I think the reason why she said that, I think she was trying to subliminally send a message to Razvan that she does believe in a man being the leader of the household, because she wants Razvan to exhibit leader-like qualities in their household when he comes to America, if he comes to America, which means that she wants him to be a provider. And that's an area of contention with them, because obviously he wants to prove that he's not using Amanda for her money, etc., etc. For me, the only reason I can think of, because she's young. Amanda's really young. Okay, and maybe she is that way. Maybe she is that kind of woman, even though she don't act like it. Maybe she is that kind of woman that follows these, really strict biblical tenements, where the man is the leader and the woman has to listen to the man. Maybe that's how she is. I've yet to see that, because I mean, she was going back and forth with Razvan, not really giving a damn about what he said and what he wanted. And she made it seem like it had to be her way or no way. So I think what she was really trying to say is that I'm expecting you, Razvan, to be the leader, meaning that a provider. I need you to make enough money to take care of me and my children, because my deceased husband did that. That's why I think she brought up this whole thing about, oh, yes, Nicola, I agree with that. So Statler tells Misha she might need to reconsider. Misha thinks that she'll have more control of Nicola when he arrives in the United States, because she was like, wait until you get to him. Girl, when he gets to America, it's going to be even worse, because he's going to be so out of his element. He's going to try to hang on to the things that he understands and knows. I don't think he's going to come to America and be more open-minded. I think Nicola's going to come to America and be he's going to be more closed-minded, because he's only going to hang on to what he's familiar with, which is what it says in the damn Bible. This is how it should be. This is how we should be living. Case closed. No ifs, ands, or buts. No discussion, no negotiations. This is how it's supposed to be, because this is what he knows. So Misha thinks that she's going to come and she's going to somehow soften him up a little bit, make him a little bit more open-minded, making him see things the way she sees things. And I don't think that's going to happen. And I agree with Statler. Maybe Misha needs to reconsider. What I liked about Statler is during the break, she told Misha, I understand you want to be with a religious man, you want to be with a Catholic man, and there's nothing wrong with that. But maybe you can be with a Catholic man who really can treat you well. They do exist, you know. It's not like all men who are religious, Catholic, biblical are like Nicola. Maybe you can find a man who's just as religious, whose faith is just as strong, if not stronger, but can treat you with a little bit more respect. Misha calls Nicola during the break, and she's like, look, you know, first of all, Nicola says that he is stressed. He does feel very stressed out about how things are going on stage. He's very stressed out about coming to America, meeting her daughters, starting this new life with her. And she tells him, well, you need to kind of ease up on the Bible talk and the biblical sermons that you always want to give. And Nicola was like, no, I'm not doing that. I love Jesus. I want to talk about Jesus morning, noon, and night. No, I'm not going to do that. Moving on to Riley and Violet. So no one agrees that it's common for Americans to investigate their partners. So then Riley wanted to clarify and say, well, I don't mean like, you know, us here in America. I mean, when an American is dating a foreigner, you know, it's common that they're going to hire a private investigator to investigate them. So I was kind of surprised when Christian and I think it was also David. Was it David? It was some other people on stage that actually agreed with Riley. And I was like, That's not a common thing for Americans. You can't say that all Americans who date foreigners, or the majority of them, because it has to be a majority if it's that common, would hire a private investigator to investigate their foreign partner. But then the people that were agreeing with him were saying, yeah, if I didn't trust my partner like the way you don't trust Violet, I would hire a private investigator. Yeah, I agree with you, Riley. So you need to put a caveat, Riley. It's common when you don't trust your partner, when it doesn't even matter if they're a foreigner. If you don't trust your partner, American or foreigner or whatever, you are going to hire a private investigator to see what the hell is going on. So you didn't trust Violet. It's not like you just do it just to do it. You did it because you had no trust. And if you had no trust and you're very suspicious of her, it doesn't matter if you are in an international relationship or not. So Riley says that he has definitely caught her in lies, which, fit into his suspicion. And he said that he broke up with Violet because they were asking, Sean asked him, if you had caught her in lies multiple times, you caught her red-handed in a lie, why the hell did you stay with her? He says, I didn't. I broke up with her. But my family convinced me to come. Riley, you're a liar. I don't believe that. I don't believe it for a hot second. He says that when he broke up with Violet, she went to his family and had his family convince him to come back to her. I don't believe that. Not for a second. The way that I saw his father, and I'm talking about his family, is his dad and Tiffany. Like, I didn't see any other family members. I don't believe for a second that anybody in his scene, and on his team, in his camp, told him, you need to go back with Violet. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. He lied about that. He lies, she lies, so they're made for each other. And then the friend Tiffany comes out. So the question was, why didn't you... Okay, so Tiffany came out and she was like, Violet, why didn't you delete that? You never answered my question when he was in Vietnam. Why didn't you delete the dating app? So Violet gives us some mumbo jumbo nonsense about how I did, but the account was still active. Like, I deleted it from my phone, but I didn't know that that the account was still active. Like, maybe you could delete that. Okay, sweetheart, what are you saying? Because you removed the icon from your home page? Because you put the icon, you hid the icon? Or like, what are you talking about? So she's like, well, I deleted the app, but the account was still active and I didn't know that I had to go into the account and deactivate the account. Mumbo jumbo lies. This is 2020, girl. Everybody has a smartphone. Everybody has an app. When you delete an app, it's going to ask you, are you sure you want to do this? Because if you do this, and everything related to this account is going to be gone, and you hit yes, and everything is gone. So, anyways. Oh, the lies you tell, Violet. So then Riley says that she was active on the app as recently as 2 days ago. Did he mean 2 days from the day that they did this reunion, or 2 days from the day that she was asked, that when Tiffany asked her that? It seemed like he was trying to say 2 days before they recorded the reunion, she was still active on this dating app. I don't know. So then here we go, Violet with her mumbo jumbo. Oh, I'm not very tech savvy. I'm not high tech. And why are you even checking to see if I have that app, if I'm still on that app? Why are you checking to see that? Because y'all in a relationship, sweetheart. Y'all in a relationship. Well, at least y'all were. I don't know what's going on. At the time he was checking, y'all were in a relationship. That's why he wanted to know, because you're making them feel suspicious that you may be seeing other people. They talk about the pregnancy. Oh, before we go there, Jasmine had to put in her 2 cents. Every season, every reunion, there has to be an unofficial co-host, and this season it's Jasmine, and Christian is coming in a close second, but this season Jasmine is a co-host, because Jasmine said that because she still had the app, that means that she still wanted to keep her options open. And I'm pretty sure Jasmine knows a lot about that, and I do believe that Violet was still on that app, and I think that Violet was still looking for potential suitors, and I still think that Violet is just I think she's keeping her options open. I think for her, her dating. Look, y'all, Violet is doing this for money. Okay, she just wants these men to take care of her. I'm not going to go as far as to say she really wants to come to America. All I know is she just wants these men to take care of her. So she's going to keep her options open. I don't know how many other people Violet is talking to, if she is talking to other people, but something about Violet to me is extremely suspicious. Even Riley said so. He went as far as to get a private investigator on her. So they talk about the possibility about her pregnancy. So Jasmine asked, why would you have unprotected, she asked Riley, because they talked about, how she told him she was pregnant, took a pregnancy test, etc. So then Jasmine asked Riley, why would you have unprotected sex with someone that you don't trust? Because he keeps talking about how he doesn't trust her. And Riley says it was so unexpected because they were not getting along. He didn't think it was going to be happening. He had no clue that something like that could happen. And so she came over the night before he was supposed to leave Vietnam. She comes over in the middle of the night and they did what it do. And, he wasn't prepared because he didn't think it was going to happen. Probably also because she kept on telling him, hey, we don't do that in Vietnam. I can't sleep with you because that's not what we do in my culture. We're not married. We're not anything. So I can't just sleep with you. She probably kept telling him that before he even arrived in Vietnam. So he probably was like, why do I have to bring protection? She keeps telling me nothing's going to happen. So the fact that it happened, it kind of took him off. It took him by surprise, which is still not an excuse because that's why you're in the predicament that you're in now. It's still not an excuse. You should have declined. Okay, you have control of your body. You're not an animal. You have control of the things that your body does. So you could have just been like, what's not a good idea? I don't have protection. I'm so sorry. This just can't happen. You can do that. I hate the fact that, people, this whole thing about how men just cannot control their urges and they can't control like when it happens and when they're aroused and when a woman is nearby, things just happen and they have no control over it. I hate that. Yes, you can. You just choose not to. So, and of course she did this the night before he's supposed to leave for America because this was her Hail Mary to secure her whatever she's trying to secure with Riley, whether it's money or whether it's coming to America. So he says he didn't think it was going to happen. And then the question was, okay, why did y'all keep it a secret? If this happened between y'all are on a reality TV show, why did y'all not talk about that on the show? And Riley said, well, she asked me to not talk about it. And then Violet, with her mumbo jumbo, she comes up with, oh, in Vietnamese culture, in my culture, we don't allow to broadcast scenes of couples dating, going to hotels, and sleeping with each other. Girl, you need to pick a side. Are you going to follow your culture or are you not going to follow your culture? Because you also said in your culture you don't sleep with somebody that you're not married to. That's exactly what you did. Then you say in your culture, girl, are you going to follow the terms of your culture or are you not? It's like, okay, when it's working for you, oh, in my culture, we don't do this. And then you go and you do it. And then they ask you why you did it. Oh, I can't broadcast it on TV. In my culture, we don't broadcast that on TV. But you should never have even been doing that to begin with. There would have been nothing to broadcast if you didn't do it because you said in your culture, you don't even... She said in her culture, I can't sleep with him. I can't even be in his room alone with him or spend the night with him in his hotel room because we don't do it in my culture. So then you ended up doing it. And then you're saying, oh, we didn't talk about it because in my culture, we can't talk about those. But you weren't even supposed to do it to begin with. Violet says he thinks I slept with another man. And, the other man probably got me pregnant. And Riley thought that she would have confirmed it with the doctor. Like, okay, you do your home pregnancy test and then you do a follow-up with the doctor. But according to Riley, it seems like she never went to the doctor to confirm it. And it also seems like to Riley that the dates just doesn't match up. Riley says that the dates were not adding up. She talked about how she couldn't afford to go to the international hospital. Okay, but he said he was going to pay for it. I don't understand. He said he was going to pay for the international hospital. He said that he gave them his credit card information already and everything was ready to go for her to make the appointment at the international hospital, but she never went. So Riley thinks that she's trying to pin this pregnancy on him because she wants him to come chase her, come run after her or whatever. That didn't make any sense to me. She's trying to pin the pregnancy on him because she wants your money. That's why she's trying to pin this pregnancy on you. And the fact that she wanted to get married, or she asked him right after she announced that she was pregnant, she asked him, why can't we just get married? Maybe she is trying to come to America. I don't know. She's trying to expedite the process. So the question was, Violet, can you tell us if you're pregnant with Riley's child or at all? And that's where the episode ended. So we won't know until next week if she's pregnant or not. Oh, God. There's a lot of fishiness going on with with Violet and Riley. A lot of fishiness going on with them because their story is just so discombobulated. It's meandering and tributaries are, and it's like things are just going in all different directions and we don't know what's going on. You said your culture, you don't sleep with men that you're not married to, but then you went ahead and you did it. Well, why didn't you tell us that you did it? Oh, in my culture, we don't broadcast it. He's talking about his medication gives him a less than 1% chance of getting a woman pregnant, but now this woman that you slept with the day before you left for America, now she's pregnant. Now, can y'all imagine what a miracle child this would be if she actually was pregnant with Riley's child? Because he's on medication that reduces his fertility down to 1%. They did it just that one time. She's already of advanced age. If this woman is pregnant by Riley, this is a miracle child. Because look at all the odds that are stacked against this pregnancy being, if she's even really pregnant. If she's pregnant, he has a less than 1% chance to get her pregnant. They only did it one time, and she's of advanced maternal age. This is a miracle child. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content, subscribe to my channel, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.